Prosperous though Singapore is, it has slums and a young criminal element infesting the waterfront. The prison authorities are trying an experiment, taking the teenage gangsters from Changi jail away from the port altogether and shipping them off to an island a few miles distant. As this batch embarked, they still had the criminal instinct to hide their faces. How they felt about the move, it was impossible to tell. On Pelau Senang, the young offenders could look forward to something like a holiday compared with prison life. They'd have no chance to escape, but as they made their way to the temporary camp set up by a pioneer party, could they have wished for a bigger contrast to a jail? Their first job was to tackle the jungle, make it habitable and cultivated. A tough assignment for a bunch of small-time gangsters. But very soon, for the first time, they were handling tools, not weapons. Next job, to level the site of the projected camp. By now, a barge load of bricks had arrived. That meant more hard work, especially on an island that's almost on the equator. It had all become a challenge, which they cheerfully accepted. One of the easier jobs, driving the cultivator. Very few Westerners will know what that is. Tapioca, not everybody's cup of tea in Britain, but in Southeast Asia, a valuable food. The plan was to make the little colony as self-supporting as possible, and in the process, among the various jobs they were learning, they might find the sort of work they'll be able to do when they're free again. That, in fact, was the main object of the island experiment, and in a very short time, they lost all feeling of being prisoners. They even managed to assemble a generator. What a thrill when it delivered the goods. They're being taught to read and write using both Western and Eastern characters. So they'll no longer be illiterate hoodlums when they return to Singapore, but physically and mentally fit, and in all ways able to hold their own as good citizens. Those tapioca roots flourished into a good crop. The vegetables were good enough for a horticultural show. Letters from friends and relatives keep them from feeling isolated. They're all friends with the guards, so men who still can't read can get their letters read to them. The same mail brought a letter to the Camp Commandant authorizing the release of one prisoner, earned by extra good work. Though a prisoner no longer, he'd take a lot of happy memories home with him. On the island, he made some good friends. There'd be lots of jobs he could do in Singapore, where he'd return not as a jailbird, but a man qualified to earn a living. The future is up to him.